and good morning. As mayor, public safety has and always will be on the forefront of my mind. There's not a second that goes by where I'm not thinking about the health and safety of my neighbors and my community. When I was growing up in Walnut Park, our community felt safe because it was exactly that, a real community, a network of family, friends, and neighbors who came together to support each other. That foundation of that is trust. The idea that our family has your back and yours, ours. It's difficult, nearly impossible, to build those ties and trust when families are struggling to make ends meet, when people cycle in and out of the neighborhood because housing is too expensive, or those suffering through addiction cannot get the support that they need. Most of us can agree, the public safety status quo has failed St. Louis, and trying the same old tactics over and over again won't get us anywhere. That's why I'm committed to reimagining public safety, holding those accountable who commit crime, but addressing root causes to prevent crime before it occurs. Last week, I signed a bill creating the Office of Violence Prevention and dedicating funding to community violence intervention programs. This new division under the Department of Public Safety will coordinate our deployment strategies, anti-violence work, job training, and youth programming across city departments to make our streets safer. And this past week has highlighted so much of what makes St. Louis so incredible. Communities coming together to support each other after devastating floods, as well as the selfless frontline work of our first responders. Their relief work is helping build trust in our neighborhoods, like the officers on site securing our 3 mobile command centers as residents stop by for food, water, cleaning supplies, and the like. Like our police cadets who canvass neighborhoods to connect residents to relief and resources. I saw their dedication and compassion for those struggling. And I saw that firsthand when I joined them Sunday in Walnut Park while they were canvassing. Preventing violent crime, solving cases, breaking cycles of violence all depend on the community's willingness to work with police and the faith that they will be treated fairly and with respect. But racial disparities in policing undermine our work to build that willingness to work together. Last year, my administration worked with the Center for Policing Equity to analyze how policing impacts the neighborhoods that make up our city. The analysis found that in St. Louis, Black people were subjected to 4.3 times as often as white people per year. And Black pedestrians were stopped 2.3 times as often as white pedestrians per year on average. Through the hard work of the Board of Aldermen and community leaders, we are taking a critical step forward in building trust between the police and the community. The bill I'm signing today creates the Division of Civilian Oversight, which strengthens our existing oversight provisions for corrections and police. Accountability is the first step in building trust, and that will strengthen our enforcement and police department in the long run. After all, no one wants to serve next to a bad cop, and when oversight fails, no one wins. Which is why I have such a broad coalition of public safety, community, and elected leaders here with me today. No matter our background, we all want our city to be a safer place, where those who do wrong are held accountable. This division will be led by our Commissioner of Civilian Oversight, Matthew Brummund, who's here with us today to answer your questions. When we put the public back in public safety, we are creating an environment where all members of the community are working towards accountability and safer neighborhoods in the long run. So my message today is this: if you're a good officer focused on serving the community, like so many officers I meet or have met in the past week, you have nothing to worry about. But I want to thank again the Board of Aldermen for their cooperation, and to the community members who championed this bill. And now I'll turn it over to my Alderwoman, Shameem Clark-Hubbard, to talk about the hard work it took to get this bill to my desk today. Shameem?
Good morning, everyone. I figured you all would be tired of me talking about this after all the meetings we had. But I'm just as equally as excited to be here this morning. To talk about the work that's gone into this, I would have to begin with the work that started so many years ago. People like Mama Jamala and Mr. Chasnoff and loved ones here that I look out and see their faces today, that sat at tables and never would imagine we would have got it this far, sis, but we did. I also want to talk about this being math. I thought about this morning. I took some notes on this. I served under my grandfather, Joseph Clark's name proudly, right? And one of the things he taught me, not just in his words, but in his deeds, is that we serve the greater good. And one of the meetings, thanks to STLTV, you can go back and watch the meetings, I could have gone down the list, the ongoing list of people that supported this bill. And then I could have read the few names that were against this bill, right? But my heart stopped me because I said the people know, and also I said it would have fed into the divisiveness that has gotten us to where we are today. Trust is broken, sometimes very fast, but it takes a long time to build. This bill is almost 20 years in the making, thank you. And it's gonna continue, right? But we are all committed. I believe we are all standing here committed to do this work. I just talked to an officer last night after the election, and he said, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this, but you gotta promise me that you're gonna keep an eye on it. Like our mayor just said, us working together. We're gonna keep an eye on this because while we want us to build the trust and be fair to our community. So thank you so much. It was an honor to have a part alongside my colleagues, alongside all these other trusted leaders in our community, alongside you all, to carry it this far. But like I said, this work was hard. Never worked so hard for a bill we pray we never have to use, right? We pray we never have to use it, but history showed us that we have. So I'm gonna quote from something that I took away from some of the other studying. I did so much studying thanks to my sister over there. She probably don't want me to call out, but I mean, so many people helped me with this. But equal justice, real equal justice means the issues present in law enforcement today must be addressed and dealt with at the core of their existence. So that's not talking about the day-to-day, right? Which we already spoke on there. But there are real issues. And I thank you all for not giving up. I thank you all for not giving up and letting us get this far. And I want to be here to continue to work. Thank you all. With that, I want to bring up somebody who I probably got on his nerves too, Dr. Dan Isom.
Well, good morning to everyone. There is no real public safety without the public's involvement in the incidents that directly impact them and their neighborhoods. That's why this bill is being signed by Mayor Jones today, and it's so very important to our community. We have focused on breaking the cycle of violence to make our community safer, but we cannot do that without strengthening the trust between the community and the police officers that serve the community. The Division of Civilian Oversight builds on our current accountability system, giving our oversight process actual teeth. With more investigative and subpoena power, the division will take the role of internal affairs in conducting investigations into use of force and allegations of officer misconduct. It is more difficult for us to get cooperation and information for neighborhoods and community members to solve crime if we don't have trust in the police. Trust cannot be built overnight, but we can start to restore faith in our system today by strengthening measures for oversight on our police department, making sure that there are consequences to misconduct when it occurs. And now I'd like to turn it over to Matthew Brummund, the Commissioner of our Civilian Oversight Board and the future Commissioner of our Division of Civilian Oversight.
Thank you, Dr. Isom. Thank you, Mayor Jones, Alderwoman Hubbard. Thank you for this opportunity. After a 20-year career with the FBI, all in St. Louis, a transformational experience for me was working in community outreach post-Ferguson. And just what highlighted for me was how important community trust was and how important procedural justice is in building that trust between citizens and law enforcement. And without it, law enforcement can't be effective. So I think this is super important opportunity for us to build trust, because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want a safe and prosperous St. Louis, and that's for everybody. So currently, the Detention Facilities Oversight Board has been sworn in, and we're in the process of scheduling our first meeting where we're going to get set up in overseeing the Department of Corrections there. And then also the Civilian Oversight Board currently has 2 openings. This has increased the size of the Civilian Oversight Board. And what will happen, the board represents the strength and diversity of St. Louis and helps oversee our work as investigators as we're looking into individual allegations or incidents and then reviewing them for us. So hopefully in that dialogue, we can build and increase the trust. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tammy Bufford. I'm a member of the Fatal State Violence Response Program, and I'm also a Fatal State Violence Crisis Response Team member. I started this advocacy work because my son, Cortez Bufford, was brutally beaten by 8 St. Louis Metropolitan Police officers in April of 2014. Cortez filed a lawsuit after that and won. And after that, he was told that the police would have a target on his back. And in December 12, 2019, the police made good on that promise. First, he was assaulted by an officer because the officer hit him with this SUV. And then Officer Lucas Roethlisberger used him as target practice and murdered my son in cold blood. There was no thorough investigation done of the police officers after this happened, and no criminal charges was ever brought against those officers. Myself and other FSV family members have been advocating for Board Bill 47 to be signed in hopes of ensuring that officers will be held accountable for their wrongdoings and a proper investigation will be done after they've killed our loved ones. Today's signing of Board Bill 47 into law is a long-awaited moment and a step in the right direction towards holding officers accountable for their misconduct and wrongdoings. With the signing of Board Bill 47 by Mayor Jones is an example that the city of St. Louis is trying to rebuild the trust with the community. And by doing that, the Civilian Oversight Board is created, and the Public Integrity Unit is a separate division outside of the police department so that an actual thorough independent investigation will be conducted of police wrongdoings. I would like to thank the mayor, the board of aldermen, and everyone who worked on getting this bill passed, and hopefully our community can be better. Thank you.